gonna get myself some water, situate myself. It's my first time reading at a big podium, so forgive me. Am I loud enough right here? Okay. I'm going to start with a standalone poem. I've been working on a lot of projects that I'm going to read from, but I'm just going to start with this one. It's called Back When God Was a Smell, I Was a Dog. No more wise men, only wise dogs. They follow trees now, bark down the big dogs, turn mountains into scat. Warm leaf mulch, all belief is monochromatic, pulped into smells linden in late June. Realization of perpetual death chrysanthemum, made with the same symbol for powdered skeleton in scent shown as sharp intake of breath, then regret, the bitch that died in the kennel next to you, me, coal spots in the eyes, dreaming in smell, praying in beads of sweat around the garden, in the armpit, new rosaries produced hormonally, in the holy gland, moraine, like fennel, like mother, same aroma as nakedness, ash in the snowbank, knowing the nose is the surest direction towards the star that tells the breath of the wet place, marked by black mold, myrrh, blocked air, afterbirth to practice, bouquet, banquet in the wind. Wag the tail, point north now. Only men pretending they are dogs, following trees, converting smells into sight, watching the yellow hand of dusk, calling this a yellow lord, worse, calling him gold, never knowing what a virgin smells like, what a mother's skin does in fresh mud, how the funk of lust could be painted as a red circle over a black sky, same as the sign for the stink of a January fire, wood smoke, caught in wool underwear, unspeakable. Patiently, these translations utter themselves as a season. For every god there is a smell. For every man with his head in the dung heap, a Bible is written in particulate mildew, hanging as halo above compost. The dog goes low to the ground, follows invisible blood, nude undulations of rot in the earth, like the roots of mushrooms that will lead him back to the place where the virgin sweated, stunk, heaved mightily an imprint of her odor, plump rose meat, fish salt that alerts the first sense to the entrance of a perfume with one sign, white hand, crushed violet, the smell of a moving tongue. God when he was a smell, dogs when they were wise, and began in earnest to smell the prey and practice with moist suctions of snout and mouth the hunting of messiahs. Okay, thanks. Okay, next I'm going to read from a project that I've been working on with Robert. It's been very helpful. I've been trying to write about the theme of the Virgin Mother in every folk religion, every religion that pops up and kind of has similar aspects. And this is a poem called Mother of the Master Symbol that I wrote recently with his help. Tonantzin, which means our mother. Guadalupe, which means what the conquistador heard, and Nahuatl, which means what the people call Our Lady of Tepeyac. Our Lady of the Water of the Aquatic Jaguar. I do not doubt that she is the same goddess. I do not doubt her feast days, although they are in a different calendar. She has a cradle on her back. She carries her son in it. She rode in on the moon, and she was with child, stars on her head, moon at her feet. The sun was about her. She came from the east with the fire of an eagle flying. She has her origin in the moon. I do not doubt that she was an eagle. I do not doubt that although young, although a virgin, she was my mother. I do not doubt the child, although the hill was tall into thin air, so that no mother could carry a child on the moon above the earth. The worldliness of an entity in time, the work it can do, the mother it can be when it is seen as a young girl wreathed in her own virginal blood, in blue, in the form of the cat, in the white of fertility wind crushing the land greenly. She was greenly, she was in blue. She was the fortunate mother of the whole land. She was the unfortunate mother of a dead son. Cihuacuatl, La Dolorosa, Our Lady of Blue, Guadalupe, Magdalene in the thorn at the tomb, the mother of the gods, inventor of men, the same thing. The white woman, the same thing. Tosi, grandmother of the gods, the gray woman, the same thing, holding a child that will ascend to Tepeyac, to Nazareth, with a child on her back and the moon at her feet. Mother of the moon, the blue woman, the woman of roses, roses that are blue, the same thing that is seen when death comes, the same thing that comes when the world is in need of a visitation. Right. Now, I'm going to read a poem called The Making Of, which stems from my Mary poems, but is a little to the side. Some discourse on the moon. To use the senses, my God-given, the landscape lost flesh, turned into flat water, to move. No prime root, no nub awakening under the river sludge. We are always unmaking ourselves, sleeping destroys the bed. The day starts over afresh in the aftermath of mud, the night swamp, be restored. To feel its room, its fixture unready, nightly unmade in autumn, bald and tall, the whole of a dream in the stupefied organ, the bare hand, the sex of the right thumb, a gender, a destination, eulogies in tender voice. I have forgotten once again that the body makes art. I have not made enough, have not had all the good darkness, all the days and their comparisons, the nights and their God-fearing. I was foretold that there would be a compass, pilgrimage appearing in my atlas as the finger of a distant star. I was awaiting good stewed spring lily, the boiled down root of a foot, a pale stone, the good babies I will have, the good love promised to me the minute my mother made me, and I began to produce a part that summoned breathing or tightness in the throttle, circles in the inner eye, the transfixed orbit around the dead organ, for a good poem, for the living water, the ability to produce prophecy, understanding that the Messiah can click into, can mean past the limit of the future of my own blood. In washes of water, drooping rain, the face of sky come down to lick the ground, stone ichor in the mountains. I have good things, and they are all named world. I have a good thing to tell about, and it is the awe, slender and seasonal. Fatigue, my gender. There is a way of being alive, speaking to the red-faced planets out of earshot, long after the ember has gone out, the other worlds continuing on. I cannot tell you yet to say it. The organs warn against it at the word, through a threnody, at the mouth of the cave, my body, blood and animal, a world, a dust. Sing a season, a female, a form, unsalted seas, at night the day lumbers up the mountain, makes fire, makes art. I too will unmake, lose body, and then awake from dream, blindness before sight, order, to become bodily and continue. Okay. How am I doing on time? All right, I'm going to read one last series of poems. This is the big project I've been working on. Robert's the only one who knows about it, so this is its kind of birth to the world. I've been taking this class on religious imagery in Latin America, and I just learned about this anthropomorphized rock icon who's called Mashimon San Simon, and he's also weirdly combined with Judas Iscariot. And I realized that this figure has been appearing in my nightmares for years. This like big stone wearing a hat. Or this guy, this like weird white man wearing sunglasses with amputated arms and legs, wearing a big hat. And he's very ambiguous. He's not good or bad, but he will do things for you if you give him the right things, which can be really anything that has power. So I figured I needed some of the Mashimon energy in my life right now, that ambiguous, dark, powerful stone magic. So these are my poems for him. 8 poems for Mashimon. 1. Went out into the field for a whole hour, tobacco, apple orchard glue, the raw spot in my thigh, some leftover cheese, the smell of my length after not cleaning, fish breast, my breast misshapen by my own hand. Withered bread all offered, it took the whole candle, lines of burn mark, how smoke echoes in the black, discolored mirror blocks eye a blink, where wind distracts light. All this in search of vision. A long time, you appeared squatting on the hill between 2 previously unseen seated trees. I knew you by your shape, trembling void, topped by a tall hat. 2. For years, your uncanny repetition in dream and nerve pain pervading like the smell of sulfur in sink water. Once, dropsy with illness, clutching the bloated stomach, praying for clean blood, you leaned over my face and breathed heavily into my mouth. Your broad-brimmed hat like a clips around midsummer sun, my hacking sputum back at you, offering enough to honor your brief transfusion of dead air. 3. Conspiracies about your form, your limbless hovercraft, condensed meat, no need for feet, a stone with enough magnetism to disrupt the Earth's own Coriolis. The most frightening thing is the disembodied face, like the moon, in a space where no planets have ever occurred. The underbelly of a cave, my own wall, your organ, transfixed shadow in half-face, urging me to turn and acknowledge my own reflection. 4. Mashimon, I realize we have met many times. You appear in shopping malls, seedy swimming holes, your towel obscured by the belly of a standing man, smoke dissecting your aviator frames, sallow nose in old memento mori, documentation of dead men at Gettysburg, Hiroshima, you standing to the side, sometimes the bomb leaves an indelible mark. Sometimes the winter draws bile from the earth and the soil suffers for it. Sometimes behind an oak, glowing bloodless, whitely disguised by the veil cast by the brim of your hat. And once, in nightmare, no string to thread the logic of my own life through the spine of its story, I fell from the bowels of a place into November 22nd, 1963. Some sidewalk, people with bells, chrysanthemums, flags, improper rocks in their baskets. You tipped your head at me, dressed in denim, and as you disappeared beyond a corner, an imaginary oxygen 3 shots fired, waking to my own gargle, hand at my throat, feeling for a whistle. 5. On Easter, inexplicably, they transform you into Judas, lovingly parade your round body, hang your stone neck outside the church, then hand you a money bag, acknowledge your sacrifice, the way you were born, hopeful that you could be of service, the corner block in some temple, hold a notch in place with your dimpled slate, and you did. With a kiss, you presented him with history, a passion, the hordes that would come to love him. You bought a field, and with a kiss you bought Christ, his cross, subsequently crusades, sermons in stone, his whole people, Our Lady of the Apocalypse not possible if her son had not died grandly at the hands of other men. 7. 6. San Simon of the Stone. Granite monoliths suggesting that in the center could be the face of something petrified into grimace, the watchful flatness of a sky, a profile with one eye affixed on the horizon, frontality of the field, its widening scope untouched by my movement, only as large, as sinister in space as I let it be by keeping still. 7. Only lately that people let their gods live in the sky, scalp the hides from good-looking youths to give their deities skin, flaxen beards, and brow. Only lately that a good spirit has wide hips, or narrowness, or the virgin slip, hidden blankly under fur. Only lately that we have fur, that we have sticks, meat enough to sit down on our own meat, enough to eat. These days, so the gods are fat. In our image, the image is enough. To live longingly, enough. Lately, to look at the sun and pretend it would be better as a man, make the sun a man, the sky a hard horizon for my end, a limit to the way I will and can breathe finally, the end, the dark side of a child after dissection. The darkest side is the missing one, crucifix in dead half of storm moon. All this is the pleasure of stone, all blue as stone, born half. A child deformed into a stone, a log, nubs for legs and arms, so smooth and hairless as to be a mountain. Only long ago that a large stone in a field was rightfully found, placed, lovingly called San Simon, Mashimon. And then finally, my last poem. It's my last Mashimon poem. Okay. Every part of me is sore, Mashimon. My substance is too soft. The softness is like dirt. It sloughs off and flayed. Take me, God, I am hive. Scratch skin on the mountain that reddens into blood tree. Rainwater, I hated all men, but I did not hate you. Your love, thick cloven lungful, 2 breaths from your 2 parts. 2-pronged thumb, legs cut off for me. Arms cut off for me. Your bludgeon shape can touch me. Arterial slump, last bust of dark innards can eat me, the only rock in mound of bodies, heaviest of elevation. The marker, the death writ, Mashimon, stone of the heart, take off your hat, crawl into bed like a splinter finds a wound. There are mushrooms here, pus, my own scum, but it is warm enough for a stone like you to sow the sediment, catheterize roots as magma in earth intestine that will one day sprout into high-altitude terrain. One day, San Simon, if you lie in the grave with me and my canker, my hard shell unclothed, my womb a dry kidney, Mashimon, you and I could anchor down the mountain. Thank you.